Imagine trying to protect a vast empire from threats coming from every direction without modern technology. How did the Byzantine Empire manage such a feat? In this video, we'll explore the remarkable strategies and fortifications that kept the empire safe for centuries, even in the face of relentless attacks from barbarian tribes, foreign armies, and unpredictable forces of nature. Did you know that Byzantine border defense was not just about walls and soldiers? We're going to reveal how the Byzantines used strategic intelligence, geographical positioning, and a network of fortresses to ensure each invasion was contained. Have you ever thought about how a well-planned strategy can turn an apparently vulnerable position into a stronghold of resilience? The Byzantine Empire faced a colossal challenge, protecting its vast territory from constant invasions coming from all directions. Imagine leading an empire that, for centuries, had to withstand fierce attacks from every side without today's advanced technology. How would you defend your borders against relentless enemies without the aid of modern surveillance or weaponry? This was precisely the question that intrigued Byzantine strategists. Historical context and the importance of border defense. To understand the importance of Byzantine defense, we first need to picture the unique position the Byzantine Empire occupied. Situated between Europe and Asia, the empire stood at a strategic crossroads where civilizations and cultures met and often clashed. Surrounded by potential enemies and valuable trade routes, Byzantine territory was a constant target for barbarian tribes, Persian armies, Arabs, and, later, Ottomans. These threats forced the empire to develop adaptive defense strategies and build robust fortifications to maintain its position on the map. The Byzantine line of defense was not merely a physical barrier. It was the first line of resistance for an empire constantly under pressure. With each new attack, the Byzantines had to assess and refine their tactics, transforming their borders into a network of control and containment that, beyond protecting the capital, ensured the stability of the provinces and trade routes. This defense structure allowed the Byzantines to manage resources with precision, concentrating forces where threats were most intense. Over the centuries, the empire adapted its borders in response to emerging threats. Rather than constructing a single solid wall along all borders, the Byzantines opted for a more flexible approach, creating a series of defensive zones. The layers of protection were designed to wear down the enemy before they could even approach the central regions. This defense-in-depth tactic enabled the empire to react quickly and effectively, while protecting the empire's urban and religious centers. Byzantine defense strategies. Given such an exposed position, the Byzantine Empire developed defense strategies that went far beyond simple physical barriers. One of the cornerstones of its defense was the concept of defense in depth, consisting of a series of defensive lines, successive layers that created a gradual barrier against invaders. This approach allowed the empire to delay, weaken, and disorganize enemy armies before they could reach the most important regions. It wasn't an improvised tactic, but a meticulous system that took into account time, attrition, and the response capacity of the troops. Rather than relying exclusively on frontal battles, the Byzantines used strategic maneuvers and defenses positioned at geographically advantageous points. Many of their armies were organized into small, mobile units ready to react swiftly wherever necessary. This allowed the empire to save resources and maintain a strong presence in critical areas, moving forces as danger approached. The Byzantines also used diplomacy as a weapon. They often struck temporary deals and alliances to weaken potential enemies or divert attacks to other territories. Another essential element in Byzantine strategies was their use of territory and existing infrastructure. Rivers, mountains, and valleys formed natural barriers that the Byzantines fully exploited. Fortresses and outposts were built along these areas, creating a network of observation points that alerted them to approaching enemies. This way, the Byzantines could control invasion routes, channeling attacks into more favorable terrain where they held a superior position. Moreover, the empire didn't hesitate to practice a scorched earth strategy in regions near its borders, destroying resources that invading armies could use. This tactic forced the enemy to rely on their own supplies, wearing them down even before they encountered the Byzantine defense itself. Thus, What seemed like an ordinary borderline became a trap for any unwary invader. This combination of strategies, defense in depth, tactical mobility, use of terrain, and scorched earth, made the Byzantine defense system complex and effective, allowing the empire to successfully face the numerous enemies that threatened its borders. Byzantine fortresses, structures, and strategic locations. Byzantine fortresses were much more than imposing structures. Each occupied a carefully chosen location and played a vital strategic role in the empire's defense. Among the most notable fortifications was the Theodosian Wall, a system of defenses built to protect Constantinople, the capital and heart of the empire. This complex of walls was designed to withstand heavy artillery attacks and prolonged sieges, using a combination of double walls, watchtowers, and deep moats. Its innovative features made the Theodosian Wall virtually impregnable for centuries, defending the city against barbarian invasions and rival empires' attacks. Beyond Constantinople's walls, the empire built a network of fortresses along its most vulnerable borders. Each fortress was designed to take advantage of local geographical features. Fortifications in mountainous regions, for instance, were built at strategic elevations, making direct access challenging for enemies and providing a panoramic view of approaching routes. This positioning allowed defenders to observe enemy troop movements and react in advance, often repelling attacks before they even reached populated areas. Coastal fortresses played an equally important role, especially in Mediterranean regions. Coastal protection was essential to prevent unexpected landings and to preserve the trade routes that supplied the empire. The Byzantines constructed fortifications at key points along the coast, forming a line of defense that not only barred invaders, but also controlled maritime traffic. Coastal fortresses were equipped with long-range weapons such as ballistae and, in some cases, even the famous Greek fire, a flammable weapon that could devastate enemy ships and halt naval advances. Another interesting aspect of Byzantine fortifications was their integration with civilian infrastructure. Often, fortresses and cities shared walls, allowing the population to seek shelter within the fortress in times of danger. This union between military defenses and civilian structures promoted social cohesion and boosted morale, as people felt protected. In cases of prolonged invasions, this integrated infrastructure allowed the population and troops to withstand sieges without abandoning their posts. Each fortress wasn't an isolated point, but part of an interconnected network that allowed coordinated defense. Garrisons in each fortress communicated with one another, transmitting warning signals and maintaining a rapid response to any imminent threat. This quick communication between fortresses was one of the factors that contributed to the prolonged success of Byzantine defense, enabling the empire to withstand multiple external onslaughts. Thus, Byzantine fortresses were not merely physical barriers, but part of a smart and dynamic network of protection that extended across the empire. Each construction, each location, and each fortress served a clear purpose in the empire's defense, forming a system that challenged invaders' ability to breach Byzantine borders. Technology and military innovations. The Byzantine Empire didn't only rely on fortresses and tactical strategies. It was also at the forefront of military innovations to bolster its defenses. One of the most iconic inventions of this period was Greek fire, a legendary incendiary weapon that represented a decisive technological advance in naval and land battles. Capable of burning even on the water surface, Greek fire was used to set enemy ships ablaze and disperse ground forces. The exact details of its composition were a closely guarded military secret, and only the Byzantines knew how to wield it with precision and safety. The psychological impact of this weapon was as powerful as its physical effect, as many invaders feared facing a force with such destructive power. Beyond Greek fire, the Byzantines implemented other advanced technologies in their defenses, such as improved ballistae and catapults strategically placed in fortresses and coastal walls. These long-range weapons allowed defenders to inflict damage on invading armies before they could approach. Integrating these technologies with Byzantine fortifications increased the empire's defensive capability and contributed to its reputation as an almost unbeatable force. Another important innovation was how the Byzantines combined military engineering and architecture. Fortresses and walls were not ordinary structures. They were designed with a deep understanding of siege tactics and terrain use. Rolling ladders, ramps for rapid movement, and even drainage systems to prevent flooding during sieges were common features. This level of planning was a differentiator that made Byzantine defenses so effective and difficult to overcome. These technological innovations, combined with advanced architecture, gave the Byzantine Empire a significant advantage over its enemies. More than weapons and structures, they symbolize human ingenuity in the service of preserving an empire, inspiring admiration and respect among allies and often fear among adversaries. Continuing with the remaining sections. How Byzantine defenses inspire modern strategies. The defenses of the Byzantine Empire are not just a historical legacy. They offer valuable lessons that continue to inspire modern security and resilient strategies across various fields. The concept of defense in depth, for example, remains widely applied in today's context, both in physical security and cybersecurity. This principle, which proposes a series of protective layers, aims to wear down the opponent and increase the chances of an effective response before the core of an organization is reached. In cybersecurity, this approach is employed to create multiple layers of barriers, such as firewalls, antivirus software, and authentication systems, to protect sensitive data. Another concept the Byzantines mastered, and one that still resonates in the modern world, is the strategic use of limited resources. Instead of relying on a massive force, the Byzantine Empire deployed smaller, well-positioned armies trained to respond quickly to any threat. This principle is essential in sectors like crisis management and emergency operations, where a quick, strategic response is more valuable than a large but poorly coordinated force. Byzantine agility and mobility continue to inspire military planning and emergency management. Additionally, the use of coastal and interior fortresses by the Byzantine Empire to protect key points is a concept that persists in various fields, such as national security and critical infrastructure protection. In modern urban environments, this philosophy is commonly seen in the creation of secure perimeters around sensitive areas, such as power plants, airports, and communication centers, ensuring that any threat is met with well-planned and robust barriers. The Byzantine lessons of adaptability also serve as a valuable model for companies and organizations facing a competitive and constantly changing environment. The empire adjusted its defenses as threats evolved, an ability any modern organization, from corporations to public institutions, strives to develop. Resilience, adaptability, and strategic planning are some of the main legacies of Byzantine defenses, and applying them in today's world can make the difference between success and failure in the face of crises. These strategies prove that Byzantine solutions are not merely relics of the past, but a timeless set of ideas that continue to inspire and guide those who seek to protect and strengthen their own borders. Throughout this video, we've seen how the Byzantine Empire transformed the defense of its borders into a complex and effective art, combining military strategies, technological innovations, and impressive fortifications. Byzantine resilience wasn't just a matter of brute force. It was about strategic intelligence and constant adaptation. With its meticulous approach and commitment to defense in depth, the empire managed to withstand a series of threats over the centuries, offering timeless lessons on how to face and overcome challenges. These lessons go far beyond walls and weapons. They invite us to rethink the importance of preparation, flexibility, and the intelligent use of resources, ideas that can be applied both to the protection of an organization and in personal life. The defensive legacy of the Byzantine Empire remains relevant because it teaches us the importance of always staying one step ahead, of anticipating problems, and of building systems that can withstand crises sustainably. So, which of these strategies caught your attention the most? Is there a tactic you think could still be used today? Leave your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear your opinions on how these ancient tactics still influence our world. And if you want to keep exploring fascinating stories of strategy and resilience, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos. Thank you for joining us on this journey into Byzantine history. Remember, History is full of lessons that can guide us in the present. And perhaps, by understanding how the Byzantine Empire protected its borders, you might find ways to apply some of these ideas in your own life, facing your own challenges with more strategy and confidence.